I know many of you were waiting for me to talk about this story, and I'm so glad that I waited to talk about it because there's some things I want to talk about after I get into the story that really just, it was sitting on my mind for the longest, especially in the last couple of days within the 2021 year, because by the time this video goes up, it'll be 2022, and I'm recording it on December 30th, 2021. But in this picture, you see a woman by the name of Lauren Smithfield. She's a very pretty, very gorgeous black woman, as you can see right here in this picture. And she looks very good in all of the pictures that I've seen of her. She was 23 years old, out of Bridgeport. I want to say that's Connecticut. Someone can let me know, but I want to say that it is in Connecticut. And she basically went on to this app called Bumble, and Bumble is an app where a lot of women go on and they're basically seeking out a mate or seeking out maybe someone to have a good time. We already know what it means when people say they're going and seeking to have a good time. And on there, she was saying that she was looking for an older white man to have a good time with. And already when I heard about that, I said, oh, there's an instant red flag right there. But let's continue. So she ended up meeting up with this white man. I guess they went and had a good time, and that good time ended up turning deadly because Lauren ended up deceased. She did not make it back from her little, I guess you can say, soiree with this man. And the only person who came back alive was that older white man that she went on this date with, that she met with on this app. Now, let me just say this. When it comes to these apps, these dating apps, people need to be extra careful with these because you never know what type of people you are meeting on these apps. They can present any kind of persona they want to, and then when they meet you in person, they are a complete 180 of what they presented to you online, because online anybody can be anything that they want to be. Anything. Catfish is real. Remember that show Catfish? While some scenarios of that show was funny, it's also very dangerous because you're playing with people's feelings and emotions and time. So you have to be very careful when you do and commit such acts such as that, and be very careful when it comes to these dating apps. But she ended up meeting this guy, and like I said, she went on a date with him, and she ended up dead, but he's still alive. Now, of course, the family is very upset about this, and as they should be, because this is their loved one. This is the daughter, a sister, a cousin, possibly an aunt if she had nieces and nephews. And she's only 23, so she was very young, 23, which means she was born in the late 90s. Her life was probably most likely getting started. So she went on there to meet with this guy. Now, what I'm about to say is alleged. This is all alleged, what I'm about to say concerning to her. Some people were saying that this woman was an escort. I don't know, how true that is, but that's what I've heard. I don't know if she was escort or not. I can't really, it's none of my business if she was or she wasn't. The only thing that matter at this point is that this woman is dead. And she was found, she was found dead. Now, she went on a date with this guy on December 12th. So this was a couple weeks ago. And, they found her dead, and the family's asking questions they want answers as they rightfully should want to. Now, here's where things get very eerie, as if they aren't eerie enough. The family is pressuring the police to do a thorough investigation about what's going on and really look into what's going on with this person she went on a date with. But the police is almost like they're really locked in step with this guy. That's why I said I feel like they're connected. And they're basically not even, I don't think they brought one charge up against this guy. They don't have him under investigation. They're basically trying to say that there's nothing that they can do about it. That's basically what they're saying. That they can't or they won't. It's one of the two, but either way, the family is stuck at a dead end right now. They're stuck at a crossroads. So, of course, the family is very upset and pissed about this. This story kind of reminds me of Ed Buck. Ed Buck was that or is that old white male out in California, part of the DNC and whatnot, a heavy donor for the Democratic Party. And he was basically hiring black male escorts who happened to be in the academy. 2 of them ended up dead in his apartment, and they weren't trying to do anything about it. This kind of reminds me of that. Do I think race played a part in this? Hell yes, most definitely. I don't even think this is getting the media attention that it deserves. I think it should be getting more widespread attention. But it's still an ongoing case. The family is really pressuring the departments to really go in on this situation. And the fact that they have to do that, that's sad, because that's a lot of stress. That's a lot of stress that the family has to deal with when it comes to a situation such as this. And this is a very delicate situation. It's very sad at the same time. And I hope that they do, are able to find justice for this young woman. Now, with that being said, I have this to say. And this right here is the meat of the entire video. I wanted to wait until I got through the story of this, because I'm sure there's more to the story, but I just wanted to get through the summarized version of the story. This is my message to these divestors out here, or their advocates, or the people who are quote unquote leaving Blackistan. I want y'all to know that y'all have had the worst fourth quarter of this year that I have ever seen. And when I say that, I mean it has been a lot of black women who probably listen to you, because allegedly this woman right here listened to a certain divester on YouTube. I'm not going to say their name. Most of you probably know who it is, and y'all probably going to type it in the chat when y'all come across me saying this comment. And when I found that out, I said I wasn't surprised. And apparently also this same person who she followed got on their stream and started to go ahead and start to blame black men for what's going on with these black women meeting their fate at the hands of these PC men. But the reason why I said y'all are having some of the worst fourth quarter in the last couple of weeks is because you had this story here. You had the story of the woman. Now the reverse story is the woman who stabbed her PC boyfriend with the sword, because apparently they said she was high on meth and some other stuff. It's a lot of stuff going on with that. Then you had the other one with the guy who killed his I guess his wife. And I'm looking at the picture of this guy, and I said this guy looked like he came off of Duck Dynasty. And before I go back into the message to the divestors, it's amazing to me how there is a big litmus test, a laundry list of what is supposed to be acquired or required for black men from these divestors, or from black women, that they have to meet these requirements. I think someone had told me that it comes in that phases of 6s. They got to have 6 figures, be 6 feet tall, and have 6-pack abs. I'm looking at some of the guys that these divestors are going after, and none of them have any of that. Some of them don't have any of what they require black men to have. They just have to be white. That's it. That is all. Don't you realize the slippery slope that you are sending a lot of these women, the path that you're sending them down? Now, let's hypothetically say that Lauren was able to survive her attack. Imagine if she came out and said that she was listening to so-and-so, and they told her to do this, that, and the third, and this is what happened. Do you realize that the person who gave her these whack lessons or whack messages could probably be an accomplice to attempted murder? But some of them don't think that far ahead. They write books on this. They probably they had a movie. Remember The Family That Prays with Tyler Perry and Sanaa Lathan? I hated her in that role. I hated it. I hated her in that role. The movie was good, but I hated her. And I think a lot of people did too. Because that was one of the first times Tyler Perry did a movie of that kind, where you had a supreme bed wench. Thought she was going to have it all. She literally got it all. Everything came her way in the end, and I loved it. That was like a happy ending. But a lot of you are giving these women these messages, and look at what's happening. And then they'll say, well, black women, they meet their hands at the hands of, their fate at the hands of black men. That's deflection. But according to some stats that people have found, they said one of the leading causes, or if not the leading cause, of black women's death is heart disease. As a matter of fact, I'm almost certain if you look up the top 10 things that's the cause of death for black women, the one about them being harmed and abused and killed by black men is not even in the list. That kind of reminds me of when white people like to say, oh, police have the most dangerous job in America. They're not even in the top 10 most dangerous job. I don't even think they're in the top 20. That's what I hear when I hear something like this. And then I saw someone say, oh, we're finding joy in this woman's death. I'm not finding any joy in this woman's death. I'm actually very upset that this happened because this could have been avoided. If I found pleasure in this woman's death, I would have treated this as a triple P. Notice there's no music. There's no intro. This is actually very sad. Because she had her whole life ahead of her, but I guess she felt like in order to get ahead, that's what she had to do. Or who she had to be with. I don't know. But all I do know is that this woman is dead at the hands of a PC man who's older than her, and we don't even know who he is. And they're not trying to bring any charges his way. So yes, race also played a part in this. Because here you have this older white man, this younger black woman, she's dead, he's alive, they're not trying to investigate. And I know this has to be extremely stressful on the family to have to deal with this. It's stressful. I hope to have to never be in a position like this. I mean, from a family standpoint. But to you divestors out there, y'all really need to reevaluate or something. Like, seriously. Now, some of y'all will probably come over here and try to say, I'm saying this and I'm saying that. Well, you can think what you want. But at the end of the day, a lot of the people that are acting out in the teachings that you give and telling them what to do or whatever it is, look at the end result. This is like the third, maybe the fourth story we've heard in the last month and a half when it comes to something like this. It's really sad. It's really, in a multitude of ways, this whole situation involving Lauren Smithfield is very sad. The cops claim they didn't investigate this man because he's a nice guy. That's what the family said. Because he's a nice guy. He can't be that nice. He can't be that nice if blood is on his hands, allegedly. They're going to sweep this under the rug. They're going to sweep this under the rug, and then it's going to be sad because we're going to hear about another situation like this. It's not going to end. No matter what I say, no matter what I say, it's never going to end. It's going to be an endless cycle. It's very sad and it's very unfortunate. I offer my condolences to the family of this woman. And hopefully that they will be able to see justice. As for you divestors, I just hope y'all seek help. And if your help comes in the form of a wake-up call, then it is what it is.